Broadcasting from London, Ontario, Canada to the rest of the world, it's Ask the Top.
Thank you very much for tuning into the latest episode of Ask the Top. As always, I greatly appreciate your ongoing support. And on this special edition of the program, a full preview of NXT Takeover Brooklyn 4 and SummerSlam, the biggest party of the summer, along with predictions for both events. My partner in crime today is Lagan Krugels. I've been consuming this for 3 years and I still can't pronounce the damn name. LeinenKugel''S, Leinenkugels. Anyway, it's a lemon shandy, incredibly refreshing. It seems fitting as we celebrate the biggest party of the summer, or so the WWE marketing department likes to tell us. Cheers, as I consume this in a Guinness glass. Blasphemy, I know you're thinking. For new episodes of the program, if you would be so kind, subscribe to me on YouTube. If you haven't already, it takes no time to head over there and hit that subscribe button. And tell your friends and family to head over there and follow suit. YouTube.com/Chris Toplack. Subscribe today. ChrisToplack.com. It is a work in progress, a mess currently, but within the next couple of weeks, it should have a new facelift and it will be better than ever. TheReactionRoom.com and podcast apps such as Overcast, iTunes, and hopefully very, very shortly, Spotify. That would be nice. If you want to interact with me on social media, I'm easy to find. Ask the Top is my Facebook fan page, at Chris Toplack on Twitter, at Chris Toplack on Instagram, and Google+. You can find me on there, Chris Toplack. Before we dive into a full preview of NXT Takeover and SummerSlam, I do want to remember somebody very special, near and dear to our hearts, very well known in the wrestling community. On Monday, it was announced that Jim the Anvil Neidhart tragically passed away at the age of 63. Sadly, this leaves just Bret Hart as the last surviving member of the New Hart Foundation. We previously lost Pillman, Davey Boy Smith, and of course, Owen. All very tragic. Jim the Anvil Neidhart is perhaps best well known for being one half of the Hart Foundation tag team with Bret Hart, and of course, Jimmy Hart as their manager. Arguably one of the greatest pairings of all time, one of my favorites. The Anvil held his own in the ring and he carried the promos while Bret was just gaining more confidence behind a microphone. In fact, Bret owes a lot to him in those early years. Jim possessed a big personality during one of the most popular eras in professional wrestling. His impact on the business should not be understated. He's gone, but definitely not forgotten, because his legacy carries on in the form of his daughter, Natalia, who remains a true trailblazer and leader in the women's revolution. He was a family man, he had that infectious laugh, and by all accounts, he was incredibly giving. So we remember the late, great Jim the Anvil Neidhart on this special edition of Ask the Top.
Predictions.
That dark, ominous voice means that we've gone into the predictions portion of the program. It's SummerSlam weekend, and we kick it off with NXT Takeover Brooklyn 4, which takes place this coming Saturday, August the 18th, from the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. The kickoff show, 6 p.m. in the East, and the main card, 7 p.m. in the East. Let's kick it off with the Velveteen Dream versus EC3. How did we get here? Well, the Velveteen Dream left EC3 high and dry during a tag team match in London, England that stems from professional jealousy, or so I like to perceive it to be. One would imagine that the winner of this deserves to be next in line for the NXT Championship, or at the very least, the NXT North American Championship. Here's the thing. EC3 has momentum on his side, but with how the most recent episode of NXT left off, we saw the Velveteen Dream get knocked on his face. So therefore, Wrestling Logic says Velveteen Dream is going to win the match, and he desperately needs to. Tell me the last time that he actually won an NXT TakeOver match. I believe it was against Oh No, and that was it. Aside from that, he has a very poor record. He needs the victory. I am going with the Velveteen Dream to win this match. Ooh, 2 words for this one. Show stealer. For the NXT North American Championship, it is Adam Cole, baby, versus the one and only Ricochet. This should get the crowd buzzing and make for a very fun match. Ricochet has taunted Adam Cole, and basically he did so until he was granted a match. Adam Cole finally caved and said, fine, you know what? I can beat you. So he finally agreed to put his North American Championship on the line, and I believe that will be his downfall because my prediction is that Ricochet will become the new NXT North American Champion. And by the way, I love his entrance. I love his theme song. I love everything about Ricochet. I believe that he would be a great torchbearer for that championship. Moving along, for the NXT Women's Championship, it is Shayna Baszler, the champion, defending against Kairi Sane. So how did we get here? Well, of course, this is a rematch of their Mae Young Classic Finals match. Now, since then, Shayna has claimed, well, I actually defeated her. That is true, but this is really on the big time. So you can count it 1-1. I really say it's still 1-0. And since defeating Ember Moon in New Orleans to become the NXT Women's Champion, Shayna Baszler has been on an absolute tear. She has been unstoppable. She has defeated the likes of Dakota Kai and also Nikki Cross. But Kairi Sane poses a legitimate threat as she was the only individual to defeat Shayna Baszler under the WWE banner. But can she do it again? The answer is no. Shayna Baszler will retain her NXT Women's Championship and force Kairi Sane to either go to sleep or to tap out. For the NXT Tag Team Championship, it is the Undisputed Era as the champions defending against Mustache Mountain. Mustache Mountain became the NXT Tag Team Champions in London, England. Their reign did not last very long because the Undisputed Era won those titles back in their rematch. So this marks the trilogy bout. It's 1-1 who will get the upper hand. I believe the Undisputed Era will retain the NXT Tag Team Championship. Although I'm pulling for Mustache Mountain, especially to have a longer reign than they previously did. And then we move along. The NXT Championship. Ooh, Tommaso Ciampa versus Johnny Gargano, a last man standing match. This is going to be intense. Johnny Gargano becomes the first person in NXT history to compete at 3 NXT Brooklyn events. Unbelievable. So this is our main event, and it was supposed to be a triple threat. But now it's that mystery. Who took out Aleister Black? Unfortunately, it was a groin injury that did him in. He's been forced out of action. He had surgery, not expected back for about 4 to 6 months at the very least. So now this is the third and perhaps final installment in this series of Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. Last man standing. Who's it going to be? My prediction, Tommaso Ciampa retains the NXT Championship. And here's the reason why. I'm going to take this a step further. I believe Johnny Gargano will not win the NXT Championship during his tenure in NXT, which makes sense to me. So close yet so far. I love the story of that. But also, he could be the one that took out Aleister Black. Everybody is a suspect. Saw him leaving the scene, and many people wrote him off. What if it was the jealousy? He became so obsessed with wanting to defeat Ciampa that he took out Aleister Black to make it a one-on-one match. It's not a conspiracy theory. That's how you write it. But can Johnny Gargano be a heel? Because that would basically make him a heel. People aren't going to boo Aleister Black. That's for damn sure. So nonetheless, that's how the match is going to end with Tommaso Ciampa reigning supreme. I believe that he needs a good long run as champion. SummerSlam takes place this coming Sunday, August the 19th, from the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. Kickoff show, 5 p.m. in the East. Main card, 7 p.m. in the East. Strap yourself in. It's going to be a long one. On the kickoff show, we have Cedric Alexander, the champion, defending his Cruiserweight Championship against Drew Gulak. If you haven't tuned into 205 Live lately, gone are the days where Drew Gulak presented PowerPoint presentations. He has become a serious grappler and a serious threat for the Cruiserweight Championship. Cedric Alexander has seemingly defeated everybody on the 205 Live roster, so I fully expect him to add Gulak to that long list. My prediction is that Cedric Alexander retains his Cruiserweight Championship. I still am holding out. Perhaps it's just wishful thinking that it will be Neville to dethrone Cedric Alexander. Triple H was asked about him on a conference call promoting this weekend and really the NXT Takeover show. And he mentioned that, I don't know what the deal is, but he's one of the best. So let's try and bring him back. Certainly hope so. We also have the B team, Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel, the champions, defending the WWE Raw Tag Team Championship against the Revival, that's Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder. B team have defied the odds by not only winning the Raw Tag Team Championship, but also by enjoying a month-long title reign. Who would have believed that that was possible? Maybe it's just me, but it feels like their momentum has fizzled, and the Revival are primed to rule over the Raw Tag Team division. My prediction, the Revival to become the new Raw Tag Team Champions. Rusev and Lana versus Andrade, Cien Almas, and Selena Vega. It's also on the kickoff show. And the story of this feud really has seen Almas and Selena continue to gain the upper hand, while Aiden English has been the bumbling fool, and he has become bad luck for the pair of Rusev and Lana. It will not be Rusev or Lana Day. Lana is the best. Lana number one. The bad luck will continue. My prediction is that Almas and Vega will emerge victorious. We get to the main card. In no particular order, by the way. I'm not predicting this is going to be the order. This is just how I'm going to make my predictions. Shinsuke Nakamura, the champion, defending his United States Championship against one Jeff Hardy, Brother Nero, if you will. With Randy Orton stalking his prey, especially as we saw the most recent episode of SmackDown, I strongly suspect he will get involved and cost Hardy the victory. My prediction, Shinsuke Nakamura retains his United States Championship. We have Finn Balor versus Baron Corbin. This is the feud that doesn't end, and it goes on and on, my friends. Why is this feud continuing? Here's the thing. Despite the fact that it has felt like this feud has been never-ending, they are actually one-on-one against each other. So this is really the rubber match that no one really wanted to see. No offense to either man. My prediction, Finn Balor wins, and he moves on to a different path, hopefully a championship one. That would be nice. Moving along. Carmella versus Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Three's Company. It started off with Becky earning a victory to face Carmella, and Charlotte Flair earned her opportunity to make it a three-way. They've been teasing tension between Charlotte and Becky, their best friends. Now the Irish Lass Kicker has been playing the role of the jealous one. But I believe it's a red herring. They're not going to turn Becky heel. Charlotte will somehow cost Becky the match, with Carmella taking advantage, getting the pinfall. My prediction is that Carmella retains the SmackDown Women's Championship, which is a damn shame because Becky Lynch deserves her time to shine. This match should be the best on the show. Tensions rising. It is Daniel Bryan versus The Miz. The history between these two dates all the way back to 2010, 8 years in the making, when The Miz was Daniel Bryan's mentor on NXT. Ever since then, the two have traded jabs back and forth, most notably on Talking Smack, rest in peace, bring the show back, where the two created arguably the best moments in the show. Without a doubt. The Miz feels Daniel Bryan is overhyped and beneath him, his time is over, while the leader of the Yes Movement just wants to shut him up for good. Who's it going to be? Tricky tactics, The Miz will emerge victorious, and this feud will continue as it should. You could carry this on to WrestleMania off and on. I've alluded to this before, and I'll say it again. This has the makings to be a Bret Hart-Shawn Michaels feud. I'm not saying that these are talents on the same level. Daniel Bryan's pretty damn close, not so much The Miz, although on the microphone, definitely. But those two could feud off and on. It will always be seemingly fresh because this feud and the heat between them is believable. I buy into it. I love it. So perhaps this will carry on well past SummerSlam. Dolph Ziggler versus Seth Rollins for the Intercontinental Championship. It was predicted by my good friend over at WrestleVotes on Twitter that Dean Ambrose did return on the most recent episode of Raw. He looks a lot more like a lunatic at this point. He has kind of the buzz cut now, short hair. He's filled out. He's jacked. He's intense. Smiling like a killer. I dig it. So originally my prediction was Dolph Ziggler was going to win this match with some outside interference. With Dean Ambrose returning, I have altered my prediction because he's in the best shape of his career. He's primed. He's ready to go. That's Dean Ambrose. My ideal scenario would see Ambrose turn on Rollins, but this seems unlikely so soon into his return. I hope I'm wrong. But Seth Rollins to become the new Intercontinental Champion. Somebody's going to get these hands. It's Braun Strowman versus Kevin Owens. And for those keeping track, this is the first time since 2012 the Money in the Bank contract is on the line in a match where the winner gains possession of the briefcase. So Braun Strowman, with a loss, loses his championship opportunity, which Michael Cole states repeatedly is basically a guaranteed victory when you look at the odds. But Braun Strowman is going to emerge victorious, and he's going to move on to cash in. Could it be that evening for SummerSlam or another evening? I'll let you know later on. The Bludgeon Brothers defending their SmackDown Tag Team Championship against The New Day. While The New Day are always prime competitors, always top contenders, I was hoping for a new tag team to be interjected into the mix here. I guess I was wrong, but make no mistake about it, this is going to be a hard-hitting match from start to finish, but the conclusion feels predictable. The Bludgeon Brothers will retain their SmackDown Tag Team Championship. You have the champion, Alexa Bliss, taking on the ferocious Ronda Rousey for the Raw Women's Championship. Ronda Rousey has been booked as an unstoppable force and a special attraction in the WWE. And rightfully so, because she is. After a gutsy performance at Extreme Rules, Alexa Bliss beat down both Ronda and Nia Jax. And she also successfully cashed in her Money in the Bank contract to become the Raw Women's Champion. Following the loss, Ronda attacked, basically everybody. Security, Kurt Angle, and Alexa Bliss. And this led to a 30-day suspension, which in reality was really just for her to go away and promote her movie Mile 22. Now, Ronda Rousey has returned. She's focused, and she's going to exact revenge on Little Miss Bliss. With WWE Evolution taking place this October, one has to imagine they will want Ronda headlining the event and headlining it as champion. My prediction, Ronda Rousey to become the new Raw Women's Champion, but I won't be surprised if somehow Alexa win this match and then there's a rematch, perhaps even at WWE Evolution with Ronda reigning supreme. For the WWE Championship, I wish this was headlining the show. It should be. It could be a show stealer. It is the phenomenal one, AJ Styles, taking on the Samoan submission machine, Samoa Joe. This is a bit surreal for me. I can vividly recall watching these two compete against each other in TNA back in 2005. Great chemistry. Fast forward 15 years later, and they are competing one-on-one for the WWE Championship on one of the biggest shows of the year. These two earned it. They deserve it. And I hope that they do steal the show. As much as I love AJ Styles, he's my favorite wrestler. He has been for over a decade. I believe Samoa Joe is going to be the one to defeat him and become the new WWE champion. I feel that there's a lot of money in AJ Styles chasing Samoa Joe as the challenger. Now, I won't be disappointed if my prediction is wrong, but I believe Samoa Joe is the one guy that needs to dethrone him. So we will have a new champion on SmackDown. And now, the main event. Brock Lesnar, the Universal Champion, making a rare appearance, leaving his farm for a change, versus Roman Reigns. If you're keeping track, the last time Brock Lesnar defended his Universal Championship was against Roman Reigns at the greatest Royal Rumble ever on April 27th. Are you kidding me? Many moons ago, it feels like. That was nearly 4 months ago at this point. Despite the original tease of Paul Heyman siding with Roman Reigns, the pepper spray in the face on Raw to the big dog was essentially killing that theory. Likely not going to happen. With Brock Lesnar actively training to once again compete in the UFC, he's trimmed down, by the way, the Universal Championship really belongs on Raw, right? He's not going to focus on these future obligations when he's training because that's going to really create some unwanted distractions. So Roman Reigns finally pins Brock Lesnar cleanly, I may add, to become the new WWE Universal Champion. Truthfully, let's hope this match is quick and to the point. Will Braun Strowman catch in? I'm saying no, but I could be wrong. Many are predicting that Brock is going to win, and then that's when Braun Strowman comes down and cashes in. I'm fine with that happening too, but at this point, being the fourth match, just give it to Roman already. So that will do it for my predictions. That will do it for the full preview of NXT Takeover Brooklyn 4 and WWE SummerSlam. You can join me along as I live tweet during both events on Twitter at Chris Toplack. And again, if you would be so kind, share this program, like it on YouTube, tell your friends, family, and fellow wrestling fans to tune in. Yeah, even Grandma. I love that AJ Styles. He's fantastic. She'll tune in. Probably not. That'd be a tough sell, but you can do it. I believe in you. And we'll do this again in a couple of weeks. Enjoy the weekend, and happy trails to you until we meet again.